Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's the storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay, how is everyone? Feels like just 2 minutes ago we were hanging out watching the Karen trial together. Retrial, certainly. Ay, ski. Well, Karen Reed said herself yesterday, she left court with no comment today. That's never good. I mean, everybody knows how damning this accident reconstructionist, Dr. Welchler, for the Commonwealth has been. Because the best thing that Karen Reed had going for her was her hired guns, accident reconstructionist, ARCA. And they have been, their credibility has been stripped by Hank Brennan. They've been shown to delete all their communications with the defense team, to speak with the defense team on an encrypted app, to perjure themselves, to lie on the stand to the jury in the first case about being paid and being non-biased witnesses. So their conclusion this time around will mean less, that using very, cherry-picked evidence from the federal investigation, which is essentially from the defense. They didn't ask for any evidence from the Commonwealth and said their opinion wouldn't change if they got more evidence. So nothing's going to convince them, very much like a free Karen Reader, that Karen Reed murdered John O'Keefe with her car going 24 miles an hour in reverse. Judge Welchler is using the term throttle, but her foot 74.5% down on the gas pedal, with her infotainment system beeping and flashing at her, telling her she's going to hit something. Here is Karen Reed. So Alessi did. So here's Karen Reed. I'm going to show a clip in a second of Karen Reed talking about this accident reconstructionist for the Commonwealth yesterday. Like I said before, she left the court today with no comment. She seems to be trying to negate, his findings. And Alessi worked very hard today to get somewhere, going into physics, And it just, apparently the jury didn't take well to it. My audience didn't take well to it. It just seemed to be he was pushing and pushing and going nowhere except to try the patience of the witness and the jury, trying to poke holes in his findings. So here's yesterday. Karen Reed showed this morning, and I thought it was pretty amazing that it appears to be nodding yes when she needs to be saying no. Here, take a look. Take a look here.
And he backed up into himself at 2.2 or something miles per hour. So he tried to dress identically to John, but didn't do anything else to mimic what the Commonwealth is accusing me of.
Why didn't he get it? Why didn't he throw himself in front of the car? Why couldn't he? Oh. I mean, what are they supposed to do? Get the exact and somehow recreate the 7th worst storm that Massachusetts have ever seen? He's supposed to throw himself in front of a car, Karen Reed's exact model, which he got for these experiments, but he's supposed to be hit at 24 miles an hour in reverse.
Yeah.
So did you go in reverse 24 miles an hour, 53 feet?
Did you see that? It's just one of those movements. I'll show you on my channel. Amanda Knox was asked similarly, did she kill Meredith Kircher? And it's just one of those involuntary things. It's like a yes. Her head's shaking yes. I mean, she kind of puts it to the side, like, you expect me to answer this? But yes, that's an affirmative movement she's making with her head there. Let me show you on my channel. I have it in my shorts. You don't need to find a baseline or anything. This is just common sense here. Here's Amanda Knox when she was asked whether she killed Meredith Kircher.
Did you kill Meredith Kircher?
No.
Were you there that night?
No.
Do you know anything you have not told police? Did you kill Meredith Kircher?
No.
Were you there that night?
No.
Do you know anything you have not told police?
Okay. So back to Karen Reed, very similar. Let's go back and take a look.
So did you go in reverse 24 miles an hour, 53 feet?
The data is what the data is, and it's going to come out cleanly, more.
That's not a denial. The data is what the data is. She's like, yeah, wants to brag about it. She wants to brag about it. She's like, yeah, what do you think? Of course I did this. I've gotten a whole bunch of people convinced that I didn't do this, but come on, let's real talk here. You know I did it. I've raised, it's made me rich. Murder made me famous and rich. And I may still get away with it. You know I did it. Just like proud of it.
Cleanly in our case in chief. I think it's important to demonstrate what is the Commonwealth accusing me of. The speed.
Wait, what are they accusing you of? They're accusing you of hitting John O'Keefe with your car and leaving him to die alone in a blizzard. I love what they ask those kind of questions. Like, I'm really confused as to what the Commonwealth is. They're also accusing you of leaving a scene of an accident that resulted in serious injury or death and driving under the influence. Those are the charges against you, Karen. You should know. If I know them, I think you should know them. These are just these nonsense answers that don't mean anything. Like, they just haven't been clear. Somehow, over the last, 6-7 weeks of presenting no evidence, it's just not clear what they're charging me with. I'm still confused, aren't you? I mean, if the accident reconstructionist can actually fully get hit and damage his brain on frozen ground in May, right? And get hit, put himself on the line, and give himself an injury, which he only has like a 33% chance of living through. Living, not even living well. He may be, seriously brain injured and live in that 33%. I mean, what are they doing here? What is the Commonwealth even doing?
Speed, the positioning, recreate that for us. Back up into the crash test dummy at 24.2 miles an hour in the arm and see what happens. That's what I would want to see if I were you.
Do you recall that at all, Karen?
Yeah, she wants to relive her crime. She's like, can we just can I do it again for everybody on the jury? Can I see someone, can I mortally wound someone else and relive this peak experience in my life, which made me feel so powerful and satisfied in a way nothing else does? Can I please relive my murder because I'm a psychopath?
No, because it didn't happen.
Any update on if you're calling Proctor, given that his friends are...
Now she's saying it didn't happen. Then what did happen? How did microscopic pieces of your taillight get embedded in John O'Keefe's shirt? How's your taillight found scattered all over the front lawn where you left, the dark part of the front lawn of the Alberts where you dropped off and left John O'Keefe? What a coinky dink. How come pieces of your cocktail glass was found on your bumper, or a piece? How come his DNA was found on the back of your bumper, his hair? I mean,
are now witnesses on your list?
No comments. Karen, who are these 4 new witnesses? Can you say anything about them? What
No
they're going to
comments.
testify to? Are you going to take the stand?
No comments.
No comments.
so I didn't get this at first this morning. I was really slow on the uptake this morning, but they know not to ask the lawyers anything. There's a gag order out on this case. But this is how Alan Jackson controls his client. He doesn't want her to answer these questions. So he's going to answer no comment to encourage her to, to tell her no comment before he's told her to stay.
Because it didn't happen.
Any update on if you're calling Proctor, given that his friends are now witnesses on your list?
No comments. Karen, who are these 4 new witnesses? Can you say anything about them? What
No
they're going to
comments.
testify to? Are you going to take the stand?
See, she was about to answer it.
No comments.
No comments. He backed up into himself.
Anyway, she might take the stand. She seems to be controlling her defense. Anywho, the day started like this with a decision on pretty much a win for the Commonwealth. With what this Judge Welchler could tell the jury from Judge Canone, a shockingly good decision for the Commonwealth. Take a listen.
Good morning, everybody. All right, so Dr. Welchler can testify that the data he downloaded and analyzed and the damage to the Lexus is consistent with Ms. Reed's vehicle being in a collision on January 29th at 12:32 a.m. because he's a qualified expert and his opinion is based on reliable methodology appropriately applied. In addition, Dr. Welchler can testify that Mr. O'Keefe's injuries are consistent with his having been struck by a Lexus that is physically identical to Ms. Reed's Lexus, because this opinion is based upon, among other things, his experimental work that came into evidence without objection as to scientific methodology and application. However, he may not testify that Ms. Reed's Lexus collided with Mr. O'Keefe because that conclusion is not based on the application of reliable scientific methodology. The problem here is not that the opinion concerns the ultimate issue, because in Massachusetts, that's not a bar to admissibility. Rather, it is that Dr. Welchler, the expert, is drawing an inference based upon more than scientific method. His opinions set the stage for argument and a permissible inference to be drawn by jurors through the application of their sound judgment to the opinions that they find credible. But the jurors are as well positioned to draw or reject the inference as is the expert. That is, the inference is not compelled by the application of any scientific method. So
he can basically he can lead them as close as you can get to this, and the jury will be the fact finders, as they always are in this case. We're just going to keep it really short. I know my audience was really worn out by Alessi. It was very tiring today, and I'm still on the road. But I wanted to just show you a few highlights before tomorrow. And hopefully, it was so absurd that Judge Canoni thinks she can fit in this voir dire by Alessi in 20 minutes, when we've rarely seen, I think maybe once we've seen Alessi do something in record time. Thok says, so grateful for your afternoons and updates. Oh, thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Myrna, nice to see you again. Roberta, we suffered a lot from Alessi. Thanks for your support. Yeah, I won't keep you long. I'm going to keep this pretty brief, but I just did want to show you a few highlights. Thankfully, there's some Maestro, my moderator, did a good clip of the back and forth, a great example of some of the back and forth between Alessi. Let me just show you this. So he wrote, when the camera operator knows what's occurring and zooms in hard enough to get your reptilian eyelids, he's talking about Karen Reed, in HD, meaning high definition, you know your attorney had a bad day in the office. This is how Law and Crime aired one of today's most damning moments in the trial of Karen Reed. Yesterday, Welchler said exactly what the jury needed to hear. Did they hear it, though? Today, he said what Karen Reed needed to hear and what many of us have wanted to be said to attorney in training, Robert Alessi. So take a listen here and watch how the camera zooms in on Karen Reed.
My conclusion is there are taillight fragments, a broken glass, lacerations to his arm, and his DNA on the back of the vehicle in the area of the taillight.
Sir, and Your Honor, I'm going to move to strike the DNA part of that answer for obvious reasons.
So he doesn't, so spoiler alert, he doesn't get this striking. And look how shocked he is. The defense is so used to getting everything they want from Judge Canoni. Take a look.
I'm not going to strike it.
Okay, so you're making assumptions. You're taking what you view to be certain data, and you're coming to a...
Wait. What's going on with Yannetti's nose? I mean, is this allergies or something else? Just what the heck? What's up with rabbit nose Yannetti? Did I call him Alessi? I meant Yannetti. I hope I called him Yannetti. Look at David Yannetti here. Look at what is he doing with his rabbit twitchy nose? What's up with this?
Assumptions. You're taking what you view to be certain data, and you're coming to a conclusion, but that is based upon circumstantial information, correct? Is that fair?
Are you calling like pieces of the taillight at the scene around his body circumstantial information?
Sir, let me go to the force and go back to the force analysis. Let's go back to the numbers. I want to stay on, if we can, just the calculation. So let's go back to the minimum amount of force you understand from the literature that it takes to break any bone in the arm from the finger up. Let's start with a hand. What's the minimum amount of force that can be applied to break a bone in the hand?
No.
Of that bone in the hand. So he's like, let me just keep you on track. But speaking of that bone in the hand, there's also a pretty, I think the Karen readers, how do I put this? The Karen readers should be, they won't be satisfied because they never are, but they should be satisfied with the why come argument. Why come he didn't break any bones? Why come it didn't land like this? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he have more bruises if he got hit by a car? Of course, he got clipped, which is different. Here's Dr. Welchler debunking this no broken bones. So John O'Keefe couldn't have been hit by Karen Reed's rather large SUV argument. Take a listen. This is also another highlight from the day.
The hand. Do you disagree that the literature shows it only takes 300 to 400 pounds of force to break a bone in the hand? Do you disagree with that?
Your question's too general. I can't answer your question. It depends on the loading. If I take my pencil, which has a very fine point, and jam it through my hand, I can jam it right through my hand because it's a very small point. But if I distribute the load and a broader load, such as hitting a taillight, it takes much more force because the load's distributed across it. It's like if I sit on the corner of my bed. I might sink in this far when I sit on the corner of my bed, but what happens when I spread my load out, when I lay on my bed like this? I don't sink in as far. Has my weight changed? And weight is basically force. No, but I've distributed it over a larger area, so for a given force, you get less sinking into the mattress. So
the hand. Do you
less pressure on one specific point? I broke my finger during COVID falling. And I mean, that talk about the chaos of injuries. You would have thought the way I fell, I would have hurt my knee, my ankle, twisted my ankle. But no, I broke my finger because so much of my weight went on, my pinky finger. And I wasn't going to the hospital to get it looked at, not in New York during that time. But I think he makes a good point. It's the pressure, right? The pressure of when it's distributed over a larger area. What else do I have to show you from today? We had that. We had, at the end, we had finally, Hank Brennan came in and cleared up these. We had a voir dire, so the jury left early. It's going to be a half day tomorrow. But Hank Brennan came in and cleared some things up. I think Alessi thought it was like a big own that one of the slides came from, or he thought they came from Trooper Paul. Let's take a look together as to how Hank Brennan deals with it in what do you call this? Voir dire, redirect of his voir dire. His questions, his voir dire questions. Hold on one second. And how's everyone else doing? Hey, sunny-eyed girl. Hey, your late spouse. Hey. Hello. Hey, Lisa Cox. Bonnie, I won't keep you long, but I did want to show you this before I go. This will give you some ideas. So
someone is inside the vehicle taking a photograph.
What's your best conclusion as to who that is?
Trooper Paul.
Thank you. Your Honor, that is.
Okay, so next topic.
Yes,
Go right
thank you.
ahead.
And I just need to reload, if you will, with
So I'll move forward here.
Conclusions regarding manner of cause of death as a basis for your analysis and conclusions?
Yes.
And when you consider her analysis to basis for in it, all the writing, isn't that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Did you rely on Trooper Paul's analysis or conclusions in this case for your conclusions and your...
I'm sorry, guys. Let me get to a point where you can follow this. This is really hard to follow. I'm trying to avoid Alessi.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, you are all set, Doctor?
Thank you, Ron.
All right. Oh, did you have any questions, Mr. Brennan?
It could be helpful to the court. I have a couple quickly.
Okay.
Can I keep on it 2 minutes? Dr. Welchler, you were shown a photograph of the street of Fairview Road. Did you know that didn't come from Trooper Paul? It came from the CERT report, and Trooper Paul then took it from the CERT report and put it in separately in his presentation. Did you know that?
I had no idea. I just was given it as a folder.
And the photo you were using, it didn't have the markings that Trooper Paul put on his report, did it?
It did not.
When Trooper Paul, when you used that photo, was it because you were borrowing, relying on, or using any of Trooper Paul's reports for your conclusions or any of your decisions or analysis in this case?
I did not use his report at
It
all.
was simply limited to the use of the photo to show a different demonstrative issue.
Correct.
And then when you saw diagram 1, again, that was different than what was used in Trooper Paul's report because it had absent in it all the writing. Isn't that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Did you rely on Trooper Paul's analysis or conclusions in this case for your conclusions and your analysis?
Not at all.
Is that why you went and downloaded the information and looked at the car and did everything individually, separately, and uniquely from Trooper Paul?
I wanted
Just not for nothing, but does anyone know who these two blonde young women are in the back? The double your pleasure, double your fun, the spearmint gum twins, they kind of look like in the back, drinking water. Does anyone know who they are?
be independent in my analysis.
Regarding Dr. Scotabello, did you ever consider her conclusions regarding manner or cause of death as a basis for your analysis and conclusions?
Yes.
And when you considered her analysis, did you consider the conclusion of undetermined cause of death? Was that part of your analysis?
Oh, no, I was using like the skull fractures, the description of the injuries.
So you were considering the information in her autopsy report?
Correct.
How about her conclusions? Did you rely on her conclusions to do your studies or any analysis in this case as far as cause of death or manner of death?
Only I thought I said blunt force trauma and hypothermia.
Okay. Regarding her conclusions about whether this was caused by a car accident or not, did you consider that as the basis of your opinion?
No, I wouldn't take a person like that's opinion for that.
Did you ever have a conversation with Dr. Scotabello about her expertise limitations?
No, I would want a biomechanical analysis.
Was your opinion regarding the collision in this case, did it have anything to do whatsoever with Dr. Scotabello's conclusions regarding cause of death, whether it was accident, undetermined, or homicide?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Your Honor.
All right, one question. Can we just wrap it up? I'd like to hear you argue, but we don't have time, so I'm just gonna
I have
decision.
two questions, Your Honor. You put in your slide presentation information from the autopsy report of Dr. Scotabello for a reason, correct?
So I was listening to most of this today, not really watching, just listening really intently. I didn't realize he was furrowing his brows, Dr. Welchler, like he was in pain. He's just like red. It's like, this is so painful. Please get me out of this chair. It's like, it really got very contentious between the witness and Alessi today. I thought they might come to blows. He was just so fed up with, Alessi has a way of being very arrogant and kind of putting down the witness. And then Alessi gets very upset when the witness doesn't answer the way he wants. So it was frustrating all around, and he didn't really score any points. The only damage I've seen Alessi do was about the forensic data analysis. Burgess, his lack of a college degree, the fact that he didn't update his LinkedIn profile. So it was pretty obvious to me that he had some kind of, what do you say, CV where he put his expected graduation date from university of college, and he didn't make it. So it just sat there. So it's not that he put it up there purposely to lie, but that became clear when Alessi wouldn't stop pushing on this college degree issue and brought up some case that he dropped out of as an expert, and where he had put the expected graduation date. So say, just to explain. So say if I hand you my resume now and it says to graduate, let's say graduate school in 2028, that I haven't yet. It's not that I'm lying. That's my expected date. So he just let it expire. He certainly didn't lie to the court and come in and lie to the court. That would be it will show you how little they have to really debunk when they're going to your LinkedIn profile, not to your court testimony. But blowing up the minutia is always a big part of innocence fraud. Making the really just ignoring the really salient, important facts of the case and blowing up the minutia and trying to make it look like it's inconsistent or ask questions, sort of flat earthy type questions about this minutia.
Correct, sir. And that reason is because you considered the autopsy report as part of your analysis, correct?
So I considered portions, which are the portions I included here for the autopsy report.
And part of those considerations were the final diagnoses. We can put that back up, Mr. Woke. But you recall the slide that you had has the final diagnoses of Dr. Scorti-Bello, and you put that in your slide presentation because you considered that as part of your analysis, else it wouldn't be in there, correct?
So the final diagnosis is in there. There's a line, then it says cause of death and then manner of death. Right. The things I highlighted are the things I thought were important. So the highlighting on slide 130. So the final diagnosis, again, does not include cause of death. It does not include manner of death. There's that horizontal line demarcating them. The important things that I was looking at are the under or highlighted, which is why I highlighted them.
Exactly. So the ones that you highlighted, you considered are from the autopsy report. That's why you're highlighting them, right, sir? You
Correct.
Considered that.
Correct.
Thank you. No
You're
questions,
welcome.
Your Honor. I
All
appreciate that.
So I'm not going to let you argue now. I'll hear you very briefly tomorrow before we stop. But Mr. Alessi, how much longer are you going to be tomorrow? Yes.
He thinks 20 minutes. Forget it. So that was today. I'm going to just keep it brief. I'll see you guys at 9:00. Those were some highlights. I didn't get all the highlights. It was very long. And I don't think they're getting very far with this voir dire, these voir dire questions that they've been allowed for this. And Alessi still seems mad about the fact that they have updated their reports for the time drift between Karen Reed's car data and John O'Keefe's iPhone or cell phone data. There's a difference, and they updated it. And it, I was saying today at the end of trial, it seems it's the same kind of thing. With Alessi, it seems like he has an inability to be flexible or adjust when the unexpected happens. And it's something that Hank Brennan is really good at. And I think it must make him very difficult in his personal life. So much of life is staying flexible and adjusting and dealing with things not going the way you thought they were going, or unpleasant or pleasant surprises, just staying flexible. So when the witness doesn't answer the way he wants, he gets angry. I mean, a better way for Alessi, who is a civil lawyer, and he's Karen Reed's pro bono lawyer, he's volunteering his time for the publicity. As Hank Brennan has said in court, it's publicity you can't buy. he wants to be a big time criminal defense lawyer and be with the big con men lawyers like Alan Jackson and David Yannetti, the real criminal lawyers. It would be better if he prepared his cross-examinations like a choose your own adventure story. So here are the answers that I can possibly think that the witness would say. If they say this, I'll go this way. If they say go this way. But it seems like he only has his cross-examination plan done for certain answers. And when the answers go in a different direction, he starts to badger the witness and get aggressive and hostile and arrogant and demeaning towards the witness too. There's a lot of kind of a demeaning, making small. You get the feeling that he thinks less of these people, that he really believes he's the smartest guy in the room. He's been the nerdy guy getting the A's through school, and now he's with the cool kids and he can show off all his intelligence. And it's just, I can't imagine the jury taking to Alessi. And Alessi's been doing so much of the heavy lifting. Yannetti has done near to nothing, just a few witnesses in this case. And Alan Jackson hasn't done much work either. And this was something that I pointed out months before Karen Reed's retrial started. It just seemed they seemed unprepared. They were always asking for more time. They just didn't seem to want to work. They had given it their best shot the first time round, and they couldn't muster any enthusiasm or even work ethic for Karen Reed's case. So it's all really fallen on Alessi, who ultimately I don't think is much of a lawyer. Certainly not a criminal lawyer or trial lawyer. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. It's a half day tomorrow. They're going to 1:30, I believe. So from 9 to 1:30, I'll see you guys. I am looking forward to it. Looking forward to the end of it. This is supposed to be the last Commonwealth's witness. And if they are adding 4 witnesses, it sounds to me like they're adding 4 witnesses to bring in Trooper Proctor's statements without bringing in Trooper Proctor. And Karen Reed seems to really be running her own defense. So if she feels in a bad position, which I think she does, she might demand that she testify, which will absolutely convict her if she decides to testify. I mean, if there's not already free Karen Readers on the jury, they'll love it. If there's free Karen Readers on the jury, they'll love her testimony. But if it's a fair jury, I think that will be terrible for her. Absolutely terrible for her. So I want to thank everyone who supported the channel. Really appreciate it. Whether by sharing an episode, hitting the thumbs up, subscribing, or sending a super chat, or supporting or becoming a Patreon member or a channel member. Also, another great way to support the channel is you can send a donation via Venmo or buy me a coffee, all those links, or you can become a Patreon and get access to content you can't find anywhere else. All those links are always in the description of every episode. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down. second victim. Carry, carry, gin, gin. Like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment, I'll avoid prison. It was snowing, I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim.